Hi, this is Renina Mentor of Sunshine Living, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about psychology, human mental health, human behavior, and how people can manage their thoughts, emotions, feelings, their mental health in order to have happier, more balanced, joyful, mindful lives. So today I'm going to psychoanalyze everything. Today, we're going to talk about the angry Black woman. And does that exist? Is it a real thing? And what can we learn from this belief or this stereotype that Black women are angry? So let's jump into it. So, the question, are Black women angry? Is the angry Black woman a real thing? And so my answer is yes and no. The reality is some Black women are angry sometimes, right? But Black women aren't any more or less angry than anyone else. And we're just going to look at, why. Why would Black women be angry sometimes? What is that really about? But first, we must understand culturally what the Black woman has gone through, and culturally how we have gotten here when it comes to this understanding of anger. Anger is a human emotion and it comes out of pain, right? So our first thing I'm saying is yes, some Black women are angry, and yes, they are angry sometimes. Okay, right? And right. The two is we must understand anger. Anger is not a primary emotion. Anger is a secondary emotion. And typically, when any group of people, anyone is feeling anger, it comes out of a place of pain, negative experiences, overwhelming experiences from the past. Anger is a secondary emotion, which means that there is more vulnerable emotions underneath the surface. So everyone has heard, or many people have heard of this concept of the iceberg. There's also an anger iceberg. An anger iceberg says, if you understand an iceberg, the water level, right? You only see the tip of the iceberg, and that underneath the water, there's this huge mass. So, anger is that way. The belief is that you only see the surface when you see someone who's angry or they might be displaying some aggression. But what you will really see and understand if you look deeper is that there's this huge mass underneath the surface that is full of emotions that are a lot more vulnerable, like sadness, like pain, like disappointment, like hurt, right? Like feelings of abandonment or betrayal. And so, if you look at the experience of Black women, Black people in this country, then it makes sense, right? Black people in this country, to say the least, have not always had a good experience, right? We've gone through quite a bit, and we still, to this day, continue to go through quite a bit. And so, when there's trauma, when there are negative experiences, when there is a lot of hurt and pain from the past, what ends up happening in the present is when people feel triggered, any group of people, when someone feels triggered, one of the things that will come up is this expression of anger or aggression. People say, oh, it's defensiveness. It may very well be defensiveness, but when you have a group of people that have gone through so much, this defensiveness will come up, right? And it comes up from a place of trying to protect oneself, right? So, second concept, we know that some Black women and some Black people and some people in general are angry. That's a real thing. Number two, we must understand anger. Anger is about past pain and past hurt. So, if there is any group of people in this country that have reasons, right, to be angry. And again, I'm not undermining anybody else's pain because I know I don't want to compare pain. Many other groups have pain as well, but the Black woman has gone through a lot of hurt and pain in this country, so it would make sense why she might be angry at times, right? The other thing that you must understand about anger isn't necessarily an action, right? So a person can feel angry, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to hit anybody over the head or yell or scream. Now, that could happen, but we must also understand how we got here. Culturally, in the US, people have a tendency, because we've been raised culturally, to feel that sadness, hurt and disappointment, those sorts of things are seen as weak, right? Tears are seen as weak. So even women, whether you're Black, Hispanic, white, um, we have been made to believe that having emotions is a negative thing. And so what are we left with when we push down those vulnerable emotions of sadness, of hurt, of disappointment, of rejection, of pain? What ends up happening over time is when you push those emotions down, you end up with more anger, right? And so vulnerability is seen as weakness. And so what we end up with is we end up with a nation, whether you're a black woman or any type of woman, we end up with a nation that has more anger. We're displaying more anger because of our beliefs and very false beliefs about our emotions. Emotions are not good or bad, they just are. They may be uncomfortable at times, but everything that's uncomfortable is not bad. There are women who will tell you when you go through childbirth, quite uncomfortable, but what you get out of it is a beautiful baby. So our emotions are uncomfortable, but they are here with purpose. And so if we understand anger, we understand that it comes from somewhere. Black women weren't just born into this world angry. We're not all angry, and we don't all need to be stereotyped that way. But if a Black person shows or displays anger, it makes sense, right? So that leads us to number three. And number three is grace. We know that Black women can be angry and any other group can be angry. We are angry sometimes. It isn't necessarily that we are any more or less angry than anyone else. But what we need, just like any other group, we need grace. We need grace because our anger comes from pain. We need grace that says, I understand that you come from pain, and how can I help you through that, right? We need grace that says, not what's wrong with you, but what happened to you, right? We need the same grace and the same love and the same compassion that anyone else would get and deserve. What we need is to also give ourselves grace. It is okay that we are angry sometimes. It is okay that we have past hurt and pain. And what I mean by that is that we are okay. That even though we are angry sometimes, and even though we have past pain, we can get through that. We can process through it and we can get to a better place. And so we need more compassion from everyone else, more compassion that says what happened instead of what's wrong with you. And we need more self compassion. We need to be able to say, yeah, sometimes I do get angry. And sometimes I might even be aggressive. But that is something that I'm working on. We need to be able to acknowledge that our anger or our aggression, we want to work on it, but it doesn't come from a place of being evil, right? That, oh, Black women are the only ones that are angry. We all know that we have an issue with anger in this country. The Karen is the perfect example, right? And I will talk about the Karen in the future video. And I will do so with compassion, just like I'm doing that with this video today about Black women who are sometimes angry. So I want everyone to understand the third part is grace. And we must understand that Black women are no more or no less than angry than anyone else, that our anger comes from somewhere, and that we want the compassion that says, what happened? What happened? What brought you to this place? And we also want people to be able to say, you know what? Um, I'm here with you, and I'm going to fight that fight with you. So, in closing, I just want to say thank you for viewing today. Like, comment, subscribe, ask a question. Disagree with me if you like, but do so with love and compassion in the comments. And in parting, go forth and shine on the world.